Hey everyone. I'm just setting this last one up. There we go. All right, perfect. So today's topic is we are going to referrals. And we're have to figure out why it's doing that. Okay. So, oh, you know why? Because I didn't connect the audio. That is 100% why. All right. Even though you think you've got it all figured out, you find out you absolutely do not have it figured out. Okay. Now, now we can cover the referral business that we were talking about. So today we are going to cover referrals. Are they a gold mine for you or are they garbage? Because they absolutely can be. But it's going to depend on how you look at them, where they are coming from, what you are looking for, and what is that person's objective that's either giving it to you or that client's information or objective they're looking for. So first and foremost, a lot of people think, okay, if I'm going to get a referral, it's the best lead you can get. And it could be, because I mean, there's two sides to everything, right? It's not always sunny and then it's not always snowing either, but they can be, they can also be, honestly, they can be garbage on there. Um, why can they be garbage? Because everyone's thinking that they're great. They can be garbage if you don't know what they're looking for and what they end up looking for is not something that you serve or an area that you serve, or honestly, the price point might just be too low. When I got into the business, I thought every referral was a good referral. I mean, I was just so happy to have any kind of business at all that if somebody said, "Do you want a referral?" My first thing was like, "Of course I do." Had no idea what I was setting myself up for. And the first time it dawned on me that not every referral is a good referral was when someone said to me, "Hey, I'm busy this weekend. I've got somebody coming in from out of town. Do you want this referral?" I automatically said, "Absolutely, I would like to have this referral." You know, they were coming in from out of town. They had to buy a condo. And I said, "Yes, I'll take it." Come to find out, I did not know if they were pre-approved. I knew nothing. I didn't know what they wanted to buy other than a condo. I didn't know where they wanted to buy it. I didn't know how long they were gonna be here, like, no information. I didn't know if they had a pre-approval letter, and since I didn't know anything, I also didn't know that they were shopping in a $1,000, I'm sorry, $100,000 price. And so by the time I got my commission and I paid a referral fee, and then I paid my broker split, and then I had a franchise fee on top of it. I was going to make nothing. All right. So being positive, I said, all right, maybe I'm not going to make anything. How about this? How about I just chalk this up to experience? Because if I didn't have this lead, I wouldn't be running around. I wouldn't be learning anything. So I'll just chalk this up to experience. So the whole I got so much experience. And that was my payment, was experience. Because at the end of the day, even though we had seen 15 properties and I ran all over the place and I was negotiating a deal, at the very, very end, when it was all said and done, the buyer decided that they needed one more thing, and it was like $150. Um, the seller was over it. They were tired of haggling. They were over the whole thing, and the seller was like, "You know what? I don't even wanna sell this to you anymore," and the buyer said, "Fine," left, never saw them again. So, some of you may be going, "Well, that's not really garbage." There were so many other things I could have done with my time, so many other levels of experience or exposure that I could have done at that time had I known better. But I didn't just make one mistake, I continued to make mistakes. And even the other day, being a people pleaser, somebody reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you want a commercial lead?" And I like this person a lot. And so I said, "Sure, I'd be happy to help you out. I know you don't do commercial, and let me do what I can do to help you." And they said, "Fantastic." The person called me up and he said, "I am looking for a commercial lease space." I said, "Fantastic." We got them. They said, "I'm looking for 1 year." I was like, "Oh, this isn't good." And they said, "My budget is $1,000 a month." So if you're in real estate and you do commercial, you know that you take the entire number of months and 12 months at $1,000 a month. So that means that the gross amount was gonna be $12,000. That times the commission rate plus my referral fee, plus the company split coming out, I was working for, like, 200 bucks. They wanted to see probably 30 different properties, and in commercial leasing, it's hard because you have to go get the keys and coordinate with all the occupants of the property, and some of them have, private material that you can't be exposed to, so they have to let you in, and it's only Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 if they do it, and the people looking for leases that are looking for 1 year are usually only looking for nights and weekends, so, that did not work out, and so, I did not end up getting to help them, but don't assume that every referral is a good referral. You have to do your homework and find out if that's gonna be a good referral for you or if you're probably gonna need to pass on that. So going into that is I always tell everybody, before you do say yes, do the math. First and foremost is I do the math and find out, is this worth my time? You've gotta decide what is your time worth. What is the minimum amount of money that you want to make on a transaction to make it worth giving up other things? Because remember, if you're saying yes to one thing, it means that you're saying no to many, many more opportunities or just time or being with your family, anything else you do, you're saying no to that. So, I was talking with somebody the other day, and I was asking her, you know, I see a lot of people doing properties for $5,000, $7,000. I was like, "There can't be any money in it because by the time, the seller wants to make something on there, so how do you even handling a five or $7,000 property?" It's usually vacant land. And they said, "My commission is $3,500. That's it. If you wanna hire me and you're gonna have to pay out of pocket to afford my level of education and what I can bring to the table to help you offload this product, then I'm 3,500. And if it doesn't work for you, then it doesn't work for you." She's like, "But I don't make my income affordable to other people. That's I have rent, I have utilities, I have a car payment, I have kids." And I thought about that and I was like, "Okay, that's actually genius." It wasn't about being nice, it wasn't about being not nice, it wasn't about being a people pleaser. She clearly understood her value, and that was eye-opening. So you've gotta do the math, and when you do the math and you say, "Okay, let's just use her number, 3,500. If you wanna earn 3,500 and you probably can, and if you know, I've got 5 other clients or 15 other clients that I'm working with that my income is going to be $3,500 or greater, then why are you going to take away from these people so that you can earn $5 over here? And let me tell you, the smallest check that I ever got was $48, and it was just sad. And I worked so hard for that $48, but it also made me think, "I'm never gonna do this again." It was actually $48.20. I remember it exactly because it was so painful. So do the math and find out, what is this gonna end up working out for you, and are you worth that or more? And you could also say, "Wait a second, I want the experience," then absolutely go for the experience if that's what you're looking for, but remember, you can't pay all your bills with experience, because I would like to go down to my bank and pay off the mortgage with the experience I've got, but they're not gonna let me do. So find out what you're worth, make sure that you're gonna earn at least that, and if you're gonna do a one-off or something like that because you want the experience, I get it. You might even say, "I will do this because I want the marketing or exposure." Let's say it's a property that somebody referred you and you're gonna get to put a sign up in a prominent location and get a lot of drive-by traffic. Okay, that might be worth it, but just make sure that you're getting your value out of whatever that referral commission is gonna be. So next question that we have on here is, what is your standard referral commission? So when people contact me, I've had everything from, they ask for a commission of 10% up to 50%. And you have to decide again, it's gonna come back to, well, what are you gonna make at the end of the day? What do you want to earn out of it? And there's no standard out there. Um, some companies will say, "Well, I'll ask for a small amount because it's underneath 100,000 and you're not gonna make a whole lot of money." And it's still money going out. When I give a referral, I have a number that I want. I am not a high number. I'm not as interested in that. I'm more interested, if I'm giving a referral out, that my customer is being taken care of by the very, very best fit for that person with the most knowledge, and that is more important to me than making sure I get somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, but is willing to give me 50%. So greed is gonna come into this. If you're worried about your pocketbook, it's never gonna work out. You're probably gonna hire the wrong person and it won't close. Maybe it will, but most likely it won't. So, but you wanna know, what is the amount of money that you're gonna ask for when you give a referral, and then how much are you going to give away when you take one? When I did the math, my personal number for me is 30%. I'm paying more than 30%. I can make more money doing something else out there than I would if I was paying more than 30%. It's just not worth it. Now that's for me. I don't need any more experience. Please, I don't need any more experience, universe. I have enough, and that's just where I'm at. Again, if you're new and it's gonna give you an opportunity and exposure that you need, or it's gonna give you numbers that you can, fantastic, go for it. But get to a point where you're not giving up 40%, 50% of your money because you don't know how to generate your own leads. Now, next thing is, how to qualify referral leads, quality, motivation, time commitment. That's really, really important. So let's say somebody came to you and said, "Hey, Mary, do you want this lead?" And you say, "Sure, I'll go ahead and take it." Agreed that you're gonna pay 25% for it. Let's say it's a $500,000 listing, so it's all looking up right now, and let's say they are, gonna sell their house. So things are looking good. But you've got to find out from this point if they are a good quality lead. Because what is a $500,000 listing if they're not motivated to sell and they are just gonna test the market? By the time you do your photography and all of your marketing, you could easily be $1,000 in for somebody who's going to test the market. You don't have to pay the referral fee, sure, because you didn't sell it, but you're still out the time and money and emotional energy that didn't work out. So when you're finding out about this person, You are giving good information up until that point, but then you still need to speak to them and find out if you're a good fit. If you find out that they like to be awake and communicate with you at 10 o'clock at night, but you go to bed at 8, that's probably not gonna be a good fit, or their time to come to town is when you are on your vacation, your honeymoon, your child's activity, some life event that's going on that is not going to work out, then say that up front because you've asked, "Hey, when are you looking to move? When are you looking to sell? When is all of this stuff going to happen?" And then you find out, "Ooh, that is gonna be a conflict, and are you gonna be okay if I ask my partner to step in?" Some people will say, "Sure, that's fine. I trust you, and I trust the people that you work with." Other people like you so much, they're not gonna be okay with anybody else. They're gonna be like, "No, I love you. I'm here to work with you, and I want you at the closing table." I have had people hold off on closing because they wanted me at the closing table, and that's how much they wanted to work with me. And then I've had other people that are like, "You did your job, the closing is my job, I don't care." But have that conversation up front to find out if they are motivated, if they are committed, if you guys are going to be a good fit. Because if you're not, the money is just is not worth it at the end of the day. But trust me, if you haven't already been there, it's not. And hey, if you have already been there, please, by all means, over here, let me put it down here. I would love to hear you ever had a referral that was a nightmare because you weren't a good fit, because you took something that you shouldn't have taken and it just wasn't right. I have story after story after story of nightmare referrals, and I'm not gonna say that that was them. It really, really wasn't. I will take 100% blame for that because it was me every step of the way. I knew better. I knew that I shouldn't have, but because I wanted to be a people pleaser or I really wanted to help somebody out or I really wanted to help them out because I thought I could fix the problem or see it to the end, I made a decision. And it ended up being a nightmare for them, it ended up being a nightmare for me. I couldn't wait for the relationship to end, and, some of those people, we blocked each other. I think it was mutual. I blocked them, they blocked me, and we're never gonna speak again. So, you don't have to live that way. You absolutely don't. You want referrals that are a good fit for you, that are your personality, and that they are so much fun to work with, and there are so many of them out there. So let's go back to, um we were talking about qualifying and motivation, and then strategies to get more and better referrals from agents and clients. Well, strategies to get more and better referrals from, agents and clients is one, you have to know, again, what's a good fit for you. What is your market? What is your product? So that you are working with people because those kind of people that you enjoy working with are going to refer other people to you, and they're going to want you because the deal went so well. It is that nightmare client that the deal was awful, but they're not gonna refer anybody to you again, and the agent that sent you that person is certainly not gonna refer anybody to you again, and so make sure that you're doing all of the above on there. Now, going both ways, when I refer people business, I do not micromanage. I don't need to know every single day, every conversation you've had. The whole reason I referred it out is because I'm not working it. So I don't know what is happening. I do appreciate a update, like maybe once a month, depending on where you are in the process. I don't need a full report, but I did refer that business to you. I'm probably going to talk to them or see them and being able to have a conversation of, "Hey, your house is on the market now in another state. How is that going?" And hear their side of it, or, "I heard you're under contract," allows me to say, "I didn't just hand you off and dump you, and I've never contacted you again." Um, so little updates on what's happening is very helpful. And the other thing is that you need to do the opposite. Whenever I get a referral, I communicate with the other side. I send a thank you for the referral. I really, really appreciate it. I do. And then I let them know, we've connected. We have actually connected via email or something like that. They're coming to town, or I'm working with them right now. We've looked at properties, but we haven't found anything. It could be that the budget's not in line. This is what we're going to be doing now. And then, oh, hey, guess what? We went under contract. As we get closer to the closing table, I start giving more updates because you don't give a month update from contract to close. That is an entire month. So I'll give up updates like, hey, we went under contract, the inspection period is passed, we're all good. The appraisal was fine, and so they're expecting a check, and I'd like to know when that check is coming. So I give more and more updates on there. Um, when I do give out a referral and I'm not getting any updates, I'll usually call and just say, "Hey, how are things going? Can you let me know what's happening?" When I get no answer or you're starting to ghost me, then I'm not gonna give you any more referrals. So that is how you get and give more referrals, is you need to communicate. The experience needs to be good for all parties involved because your reputation is being communicated. If I'm giving something out and they're like, "Oh my gosh, she is a micromanager. You don't wanna work with her. She just won't stop calling." It's like, why didn't she just work this herself? Because she's just so in control all the time. But at the other side, you don't want it to be like, "You know what? She never calls me. She never tells me what's going on. I don't know. My customer's not heard anything either. They feel like they're ghosted as well." So communication is gonna be really, really key for those people who wanna continue to send you business, or they're gonna decide you're not someone that they should ever send business again to. And I do communicate bad news as well. I recently had someone who I admire greatly refer some business to me because I do property management, and they do not do property management. She says, "Hey, I've got somebody, they need to do X, Y, and Z. Can you give them a call and talk to them?" I said, "Let me see if we're a good fit. I'll be happy to have a conversation with them and find out what they're looking for, and I will let you know." We had some difficulty connecting, we were constantly missing each other. Nobody's fault, but when I got a hold of her, she was a way, pleasant, but not my way. And I felt right then and there that I was not going to be able to serve her. I was never going to be able to make her happy, and what started running through my head was, "Oh my gosh, this person referred the business to me. I'm gonna look really, really bad." I'm also really dreading having the phone call of "Thank you, but no thank you." And so I told the customer, she's like, "Do you are you gonna do this?" And I said, "I don't believe that I'm the right fit for you. I think that there's somebody who's gonna be better than me, and it's just not gonna be me. But let me send you back to your person so that they can find the right personality for you, because it's not my job to find them someone else. That was the person who referred it to me. So don't cross that line." So I called my friend up and I said, "Hey, listen, we did communicate. What they're asking for is not within my wheelhouse. I am so sorry that I won't be able to serve them, and I do appreciate the referral very, very much. I truly do can do what she's asking. I'm just not gonna be able to meet their needs, because I don't wanna send the message that that's not within my wheelhouse, because it is, but we don't make all people happy. We don't. You can go out to the grocery store right now and just find out a whole bunch of people you don't really like or care about, and they did nothing wrong. They are wonderfully nice people. They're just not your people, and not everybody has to be your people, and we are not everybody else's people too. I have a sign in my bathroom that says, "I'm a lot. I'm not for everybody," and neither are you. So, be the person that you want to be when you're giving out referrals to be able to get referrals, and one of them is communicating and always being honest. Um, here Not all referrals are created equal. No, no, they are not. A residential referral is not always just a residential referral. Not being created equal is that maybe the agent that sent them over to you is completely different from the other agent. You might get that micromanager versus the one who is gonna let you do your job. The customer certainly are very, very different. Their motivations, their communications, their style, their expectations are all very, very different. I've had people that I've worked with that they were not worth the referral. They were not. And I've had other people that it was such a joy to work with them. I would love to work with them again over and over and over again. So pick and choose because someday, and I hope for you, you're gonna be so busy that you're not gonna have time to take all these referrals. I mean, that's one of the end goals is that you are generating so much of your own business that you don't have time to take on a business that comes in at a reduced compensation to you because you're giving out money. That's where I'd love for you to be. Um, and also when you're giving out the business, do be careful who you are giving it to, and we're gonna go back. We're gonna go into that right now. Um, let me how do I when you're giving out referrals, really vet the person you're giving the referral out to. Do some research on there. Make sure that the personalities are gonna be a good match. I do give out a lot of referrals, and the first thing that I do go to when I'm looking to give a referral out is I go to social media. That's where I live. That's the fastest way to find somebody, so I use Google and I look them up, and I do many, many things when I'm looking at someone. When I'm on Google, I will go to realtor.com, I will go to Zillow, I will go to any site that pops up immediately, and I will look at things like, how long have you been in the business? Do you even have a profile? Is there nothing on there? It might only be on one site, but not the other. I look to see, where is your business? Are you buying and selling in this area, or do you service this area? Because if you tell me you service, the area that I'm looking for, but I don't see any closed transactions around that area, then I don't know that you really do. So I'm gonna look to social media for proof first. I'm also gonna look to see what price point do you work in. If I'm referring a $500,000 buyer to you, I need to know that you know how to work a $500,000 buyer or a condo or a mobile home or rural land. So I am definitely going to social media to vet you out and see if you actually have experience in the kind of customer I'm sending you, the area that I need to have worked, the price point, and the product type that I need to have done. The next thing I'm gonna look at is, are there any Google reviews? Now, I do weigh that lightly because I know that people can go online and they can buy Google reviews and they can get their friends and family to give them a Google review, and I also know that you can get someone who didn't even do business with you that is determined to tank you for some other reason, so I do look at it, but I don't die on that hill for it. Another thing I do look at is I do look at your TikTok, your Instagram, your Facebook, all of those places. I need to see, are you polarizing? If I've got, a sweet little old lady, but I see that you're on there being, like, aggro aggressive, um, no, it's not gonna work out. So check your social profile and see, how are you coming across? And are you somebody that somebody would wanna refer business to? Because if you are, that's great, but if you're looking at your profile and you wouldn't even refer business to yourself, it's time for you to make a change. There was somebody I actually thought about referring business to. I called her up and she says, "Oh," she sounded amazing, and she says, "I'll take care of that this afternoon." We were good. So the afternoon came and I couldn't reach her. I had clients that were coming to town, and I was stressing because I was like, "If she doesn't show up, I'm gonna have to either find somebody else at the very last minute and start that vetting process all over again, or I'm gonna have to do it myself." Um, and I didn't really have the opportunity to do it myself. So, never heard from her. She actually just completely ghosted me. But I was on social media, and she's posting about being at these houses and doing these tours and like, "Hey, if you need a realtor, make sure you reach out." And I thought, "I am reaching out. I do need a realtor. You would actually have business if you picked up your phone." So, be careful what you put on social media because we are all watching, and it's not just us. When we refer someone, they're probably gonna look you up too. A lot of my people, before they hire me or talk to me, have already looked me up to find out, Do I post only at night? Am I only open in the morning? Do I do just listed, just sold, or is there any substance behind my post that brings value and shows my knowledge on there? So 100% I absolutely vet everybody, but I'm looking for that social proof too. I recently was trying to find an agent in the Villages area because it's about an hour and a half to 2-hour drive for me. Can I do it? I can do it. But would I rather refer it out? I would rather refer it out, but I'm very picky about who I refer the business to. The people that I saw were doing the most business in the Villages didn't have a social media profile. And I was blown away. I mean, I'm happy for you that you can do that much business and not have a social media profile, um, but I thought you could be doing so much more if you had a social media profile. I guess you could say they don't want any more business, I understand it, but I don't know that many agents unless they're retiring who don't want more business, but they usually also want more business too. So, I if you're not doing social media, that's like you're still carrying those big MLS books around and you're still processing the information because you're holding on to the past and you're like, "I don't need to do that. I don't wanna do that." Well, listen, they didn't wanna transition from those MLS books to computers either, and they wanted to make sure that they had what was it, that BlackBerry? And now we're on iPhones. So move with the times if you're expecting to survive and you want that referral business because people are looking. If you're not showing up, you're not an option, and somebody else who's just doing better marketing than you is an option. So that's another way to get more referrals. And that brings me into where are they coming from? And that's a very loaded question. Are they coming from which social media account? Coming from YouTube? Are they coming from Instagram, TikTok? Are they coming from mailers that you've done? Are they coming from social events that you are at? A lot of my business is business that other people don't do. Remember I said I do property management, I also do commercial, I also have short-term rentals. So there are a lot of people that I know that do not do that business, and so they even in my own town, even in my own little circle, they will refer business to me because it is what I do. And even though I could do more stuff, like I could do rural land, I know how, I enjoy other types of products and people, so I refer that business to someone in my office because while I can do it, it's not what I love absolutely doing. So where your referrals are coming from is very important. Let's say you are paying for a coaching program, and in that coaching program, they have a referral network, and you are like, I don't know if I should keep the coaching program going. I feel like I've learned everything." But if the referrals that are coming just through the program are more than paying for the coaching program and then a whole lot more, then that's probably something you wanna stay in. If you are into an activity, like let's say you go to the dog park and you're thinking, "Ah, you know what, maybe I won't go to the dog park anymore." But every time you go to the dog park, you are meeting 1 or 2 people that are referring you business. So look at where they are coming from, because they can be coming from all kinds of sources. They could be coming from attorneys or doctors or other agents. They could be coming from the checkout person at the grocery store. But know where your business is coming from, because not all referral business is somebody who's looking for compensation. Some of my referral business is from a customer I never even helped. We were going to do a business transaction together, but they ended up buying a for sale by owner that was a neighbor of a friend. Would I have loved to have worked with them and got the sale? Yes, they were a lovely couple, but it didn't work out, and I wasn't upset. This worked out in their best interest. I was very happy for them, and they knew it. They have referred me so much business, so much more than I ever would have done with just them because we had a good relationship. I truly was looking out for them and them only, and it got paid back. So pay attention to where your business is coming from. And sometimes it's a good thing, but sometimes you may need to cut it off because some of that business I said isn't good business. And if people keep giving you business that's really not up in your alley, then you might need to say, "Hey, listen, I don't think we maybe I was clear in the kind of business that I do. I don't do that. And an example would be people who don't know the area that I work will oftentimes refer me business in Miami. I love you. I don't work Miami, so I appreciate that you think that I can handle the job, and I would love to otherwise, but, I it's not my wheelhouse. So that's what I'm saying. Not all business is your business. It's not all good business, but figure out where those referrals are coming from, and if they're good, double down on whatever it is you're doing or whatever program that you were in, and even if it's costing you money to be in the program, if the referrals are more than paying for the program itself and not taking up too much of your time, it might be someplace else that you wanna double down and invest into. Um, oh, yeah. You don't wanna sound rude when you are given a referral, even to the person who's referring it or the person who is contacting you. Uh, I'm grateful for every referral that I get, but remember I said you're not for everybody, and you do need to vet them, and you don't want to start with, let's say somebody comes to you and says, "Hey, do you want a referral?" And you're like, "Well, what's the price point? How much am I gonna get paid? What are you gonna ask for?" I mean, that's rude. Uh, Ask questions. You need to get the answers, yes, but I definitely try to come from a place of helping. So, without sounding rude, if I'm looking out for their best interest, which I always am, I wanna know things like, what is their timeline? Because I have activities going on that may not fit with their timeline, and if it doesn't, I'm not going to take it. So what is their timeline? What is it that they're looking for? The product type, the area, price point, what are their circumstances? I either do or do not have a skill set. I either can or cannot help them, and I wanna be honest about that to begin with. Um, Also price points, like if they're a first-time home buyer, while I can work with first-time home buyers, I try not to take on too many at one time because there is a lot of need and handholding there that they absolutely deserve. So I need to have like 3 of them max at any one time. I cannot do 30, but I can work with 30 listings. Can't work with 30 buyers, but I can work with 30 listings. So I need to know what kind of person this is, what kind of price point are they in, what kind of loan product are they looking for to find out, can I help them? And if I overstretch myself and I can't accommodate or handle anymore, I'm not of any good use to them. I will be cranky when they call, and they don't deserve that. Like every person deserves the best that they can get out of you and not you biting off more than you chew. So ask the questions because you're coming from a place of service. When I speak to them, like, I've got a call tomorrow, they were referred to me, I know nothing about this person. I do love the person that referred them to us, such a joy to work with, and I believe that his friends are the same way, but that is all I know. That is absolutely it. So, coming from a place of service, I will ask him tomorrow, you know, "This is gonna be a seller. When are you looking to sell? Why are you selling? Where are you selling? What is it you're wanting to achieve? What's important to you in a real estate agent? How do you like to communicate, and when do you like to communicate? So that I can find out, am I the right fit? And so, um, make sure you do ask the questions. Not only you need to know, but I think if you are too scared to ask them because you're worried about sounding rude, you're doing them a disservice by not truly understanding the entire situation and then trying to make decisions based on the limited knowledge that you have because you didn't want to appear rude. I think it's rude to not have all the information that you are trying to help somebody with a huge purchase or a huge sale. I mean, you owe it to yourself and you owe it to them. Um, ah, are you being used? Yeah, yeah, definitely. Sometimes you can be used, in referral situations. That I definitely learned the hard way too, is, somebody was really good about, giving me a referral. Like, it was really a gift, and when you're new, you do feel that is really, really a gift. And then I started to see that, um, the only referrals that I got were the ones that were not vetted, they didn't know anything, they were like, "Let's just throw this on the wall and see if it sticks." And then the really, really good referrals were being given to somebody else because they were buddies, even though I probably could have done a better job. I wouldn't know because I never got it. Um, I never got it. I wasn't picked for it, but I was picked for all the garbage. And when I say garbage, this is what I mean. Like, all the calls that just rando call that came in, and the person said, "Oh, here's a number," and they never followed up with them again, came to me and said, "Hey, I have a list of, like, 30 people that have reached out to me." Sold it so well. I have a list of 30 people that have reached out to me that were interested in buying a home, but for one reason or another didn't go forward. Would you like to have this list of 30 people for a 40% referral fee? I was like, "Heck yeah, 30 people? Oh my gosh, I would love it." Again, didn't ask the right questions. Did not know that they were just some rando calls that they got off of a sign. These people could have had other representation, they could have been agents themselves. I mean, like, it was they were like, "I just got a rando call, I don't wanna deal with it, I'm gonna give it to her. If anything happens out of it, then I'm gonna get paid this money." And they did. Um, but that's not the kind of lead you want when you're asking those right questions about, like, "How did you hear about this person? Are they a good friend of yours?" It makes it it makes it a whole lot better than, "I got a call, I don't wanna deal with this call that I got. Do you wanna deal with this call? Give me some money for it." That that to me, I found out is not a good lead on there. And yes, your reputation is on the line. That goes back to the beginning of this conversation when be careful what you say yes to and how you say no. Also be careful with that because your reputation is on the line. You are the person that handles referrals wonderfully, and those people are raving and glowing about you, and the person that sent them to you is going to think again, "Wow, this is the person I wanna send all of my business to," or they're gonna say, "Don't send them this person at all. They never return phone calls, they never do anything," and then you're wondering why you never got another piece of business again. So your reputation absolutely, absolutely 100% is on the line here. Um, I would love to hear if you're brave enough, or maybe you don't have a story, but for some of us who do have stories, I would love to hear in the comments, like, what is the worst referral you've ever received? Like, what is the one you wish you didn't say yes to, and why was it awful? Why and how did that end up? 'Cause I mean, I definitely hear stories all the time about, terrible referrals, so I would definitely be curious to hear some of your terrible referrals. We could swap stories on what those terrible referrals are. So, make sure I didn't miss any questions on here. And, one thing I wanna cover now on the referrals, is there are many agents out there, especially when you're new, that want to work at a company or be on a team that gets referral business or leads, let's call it that way. It could be leads through this kind of referral. And my position is, I think at the beginning, you need to take what you get. You do need the experience. If you're brand new in the business and you've never done a deal, maybe this poor referral is good for you because you actually have an opportunity to hone your skill and learn your trade. I don't think it's where you should live, but I think it can be a good starting point. At least you're learning and you're learning like what is expected of you from that person and what would you want someone else to do for you if you're giving a piece of business out. I've seen people that was like, what was good for the goose was not good for the gander. I have had somebody who told me that whenever they gave a referral piece out, they wanted, let's just say 40%. I was just like, "Wow, it's a little high. I wouldn't take that business." They wanted 40%. And they want to be paid both on the listing side and the buyer side, and they want to be paid forever. I mean, forever. If this person ever bought another property again, they want to be paid forever. And so I was like, "Okay, if you can get it, that's fine." But then at the same time, when someone other came to them, they'd be like, "I'm not doing that." I'm like, "But that's what you're asking for." They're like, "Well, if they're stupid enough to give me what I'm asking for, that's on them, but I'm not doing it." Your reputation is everything. It all is gonna come back. But when you are accepting leads and referrals, if it's in your own market, for the most part, if that person is doing residential sales and you do residential sales and you work at the same market and they are giving you business, or if the brokerage is giving you business or the team is giving you business, usually if you're new, you are not getting the best leads. If you're new, put yourself in their position. Why would they give a new person or somebody without experience in that product type or that price point a $500,000 deal if you've never ever done a deal? They're not going to give you the best business. They're gonna give you that lead that called that one time, that they called 500 times that haven't called back, but the number is still connected. They're gonna give you that lead, and they're gonna let you work and work and work those leads because you don't know any better. And when that happens, you don't control the price point. You don't say, "Oh, only send me leads that are $500,000 above," or people that are ready to transact tomorrow. "Oh, by the way, we also made sure that they've got their pre-approval letter. I'd like that too." You're gonna get what you get. And the only way for you to have control over your income, your life, and your business is for you to actually generate your own business and not solely rely on referrals. Referrals are nice. They are absolutely nice to be able to pick and choose if you're not so busy to take one on, because remember, it's coming at a reduction usually of your income, but know how to generate your own business and then supplement it with referrals. I mean, ideally, I'd love for you to never have to take a referral because you are so busy, and I'd ideally love for you to be in the position that you are giving out the referrals because you have honed your craft so much that you know how to generate business, and you are so abundant with business that you are having to give out the business. Now, all that business that's being given out isn't always bad business. If you have somebody in your office that's a heavy hitter and they work $1,000,000 prices and a $500,000 deal comes in, yeah, they might hand that off to you, and that's really, really great. But if your market, most people work a $300,000 sale and they're handing off $50,000 or $75,000 listing or buyer to you, that's not so great. And so I don't blame the person that's giving you the business because remember, you have complete control to say yes or no. And if you say yes, why are you saying yes? And that's on you if you continue to say yes. So I would definitely learn how to generate your own business, supplement with referral business on there, keeping in mind that most likely, not all the time, because remember I said I got business from people that I don't have to pay a referral to just because they are not in real estate, and that's fine. But most of the time, a lot of my business does come from other agents. And going back to social media on that, your social media account being everything, I do get a lot of business from my social media account from other agents in other parts of the United States because they don't service this state of Florida and my area. So they will refer business to me based on what I'm doing in social media and how I'm showing up. So sometimes I hear people say, well, the only people that follow me are other real estate agents. Good. I mean, I'm glad for you. Maybe they're in your market, but they don't work your product type. Maybe they're not in your market and they will end up having a person that's coming to your area that's going to need help. So I'm glad that they're following you. Don't unfollow them. Don't be upset about it. It's a great referral source. And so you want to be mindful of what you're posting on your social media because it's not just a buyer or seller that's watching you. It is also other agents trying to decide if you're gonna be a good fit for their customer. And also speaking of social media and referrals, um, customers that are watching you on social media, while they may not use you, if they see you're working an area that they happen to have a family member or a friend that's in, then they'll say, "Oh, you know what? I know somebody who works that market." And so one of the things I did is I recently did some videos and some posts on the villages, and people have reached out and said, "I didn't know you worked the villages." Well, I wasn't. I was just looking for content, and I made content for villages, and because of that, people are now reaching out going, "Oh, I'm so glad you work the villages. I couldn't find anybody on Instagram that worked the villages. I'm so glad to hear that." And you're saying, "Wait a second, of course there are people on Instagram." Yes, there are, but they have a, "I just listed, I just sold, here I am at the closing table. Check out my new listing on video." Nobody wants to see that. I mean, if you wanna see listings, you're gonna go to Zillow, you're gonna go to Realtor, you're gonna go to Redfin, you're gonna go anywhere but Instagram to look up new videos on there. You're gonna go to the source. Now you go to Instagram and other social media to look at some fun stuff, but you're not like, "I'm gonna find my real estate agent together today on Instagram," because they're gonna put a just listed, just sold photo up there that is gonna work for me. No, they're looking to find out, do you know the market? When people reach out to me from social media and they're not an agent, they are seeing the video and they're saying, "Okay, based on what you're doing in the video, I see that you have knowledge of what $400,000 homes get you in Gainesville. I see that you know the difference between the north and southwest side of town and what the communities are. You know, I see that you know how close or far communities are to the school system, the University of Florida, and that's the kind of agent I'm looking for, is that agent who has that information because I have a lot of questions and I can't find anybody else who is answering those questions. So that's the kind of information you want to have on social media. I mean, throw up those cute puppy pics. You're going to find people who've got pets and animals and kids and activities. That's just going to show that you have hobbies and you're interesting. And that again will help you with people who see, oh, you know what? Not only do they do real estate, she's got two dogs. And I have dogs. So, you know, I'll watch her a little bit more or him. Um, so be careful what you put up there because people are always watching, but it is an amazing lead source. And if you are not on there, okay. Wow, you're missing it. I mean, you're really, really missing an opportunity. I know you know this, it's free. And for those of you who are like, I don't like the way I look, you look like that every single day. You do. And if you don't like the way you sound, it's what you sound like it. Just accept it. You are your worst critic. You look fine, and you sound absolutely fine. I mean, people are still around you, right? Nobody's, like, run away from you. You still have friends, and you still have family, so don't be so hard on yourself. You're totally fine. Put yourself out there. Let yourself be seen so that you can get the business and share your story so that you can get more referral business in there because there's a lot of business to be had and it doesn't have to be bad business. Just do your research, do your homework, ask the questions, make sure that you're on the same page and come from a place of taking care of people. Everyone will see it and then they will end up taking care of you. So if you've got any questions, let me know, and if you got any stories, I'm always loving to hear stories. I've got so many, if you wanna hear some more, you can always let me know, and I'll tell you my horror stories, and you can tell me your horror stories. Alright, thanks. I'll see you guys next week.